Welcome, everyone, to episode 112 of Dimes on Duval, presented by Nerdy Nuts. I am joined by Mike Yazji and Skyler Chase. I am Keith Manzi, and we are here to talk all things Jags, Noles, Gators. That is kind of our template right now, and we're probably going to stick with that unless something crazy, happens in the sports world that we just need to address. But we're going to talk about those three ad nauseum, probably. So hopefully you're prepared for that. Maybe
Unfortunately, we're talking about them ad
unfortunately
nauseum.
is the right phrasing. Yeah. Maybe
You know
we'll
what's
sneak
good
in.
though?
Go ahead.
The Gators at least have one win. So
They do. They do. And I have to give them that. I mean, they beat
that's
their cupcake. So
well, I'm just saying it's the only thing that's gone right is at least that one win. So
well,
out of all
let's
the
not
teams.
even dawdle. Let's get into it. So Florida plays Texas A&M. They host Texas A&M, and
Mhm.
the score is not really a reflection. It was pretty much a blowout the entire game. They went no score in the first half for the Gators, down 20-0. They ended up losing the game 33-20. They imposed a split quarterback system where Graham Mertz started the game, but DJ Lagway played as well. They combined for 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, 249 yards of passing offense, but overall, nothing really looked that great for the Gators, Skyler.
No, I did. I had the game on, but I didn't pay too much attention. I was at work. But it's not like you really wanted to watch what was going down because I mean A&M had their backup quarterback, and like every time you looked at the TV, it seemed like he was doing something. Our defense has been
Marcel
an issue
Reed,
for
the
yeah.
freshman, I think he's a freshman. I don't know. He's his first collegiate start, regardless, coming in for an inner Connor Wagman. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just it used to be a time where if you made your first college start in the swamp, it was not going to be as fun for you. But obviously, it's a different time frame. Defense has been a big issue for a while, even back with Mullen because he was too loyal to Todd Grantham. So it's that's something that's been awful to see over these past few years, and then we got no offense to back it up anyways. So it it's gonna be a long season. I have no more optimism.
And for a guy that's always full of optimism, hearing that from you is quite the sound. But
Yeah,
um,
I mean I had limited optimism on Billy already, but I was I was trying to. It's early in the season. Every start of the season's a fresh start, and well, that fresh start's already spoiled. So
yeah,
not looking
like
forward to
spoiled
it.
milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Napier falls to 12-16 in Gainesville, and that I add that because of your point talking about coming into Gainesville. That was supposed to be the toughest test for a team. It's always ranked highly in the toughest places to play in college football. 12 losses in his last 15 games against power conference opponents, and his seventh consecutive setback in those games, including 4 of those at home. So we've
Yeah.
talked about it many times. Billy Napier is going to get fired. There was more rumors saying he was going to get fired this week. He did not, obviously. So he is still with the team as they go to Mississippi State this coming week. I wanted to ask you about this, Skyler. Rece Davis, the ESPN personality, he believes
Yeah.
that Ole Miss is a better job for Lane Kiffin than Florida. Quote, Lane Kiffin has a better job right now. He is, at best, making a lateral move. What do you think of those comments?
Well, I think the key words in those comments are right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Right now, if you look at it, it is a better job. But the job that Florida can be is you can't really top it. Like when Florida's at its best, it's one of the best football programs to be a part of. It's got major rivalries throughout the season. Like at Ole Miss, he's got a great opportunity to win a national championship, and that's because of how great of a coach he is, and he's got the talent. But at the same time, to get that type of talent to go to Mississippi year in and year out is a lot of work versus to have them come just to Florida, it's a little easier to get some recruits to Florida because they're already there. They're home.
Yep.
Florida has some of the best recruits. So it's not you travel less. You don't have to recruit as hard because the players don't have to travel as far either. And yeah, the facilities are some of the best now. That was one thing that they made sure to do when Billy came in was give him the facilities, and so everything's there. There's no reason why we shouldn't be back to where we are. At least in the future, we can't get back to where we have been in the past. So, and Lane Kiffin, I think, is more than capable of being that guy, especially since he's been in the SEC, and he's a great coach because he welcomes the energy that fans have. He's been dropping like hints at like making fun of Billy throughout this whole thing.
And he has an ongoing beef with Paul Feinbaum. He's a funny guy. He likes to cater to the fans. I agree with that.
The Florida Tennessee rivalry with him as head coach would be even more massive.
Oh yeah.
And he would be capable of providing a good product like versus Georgia each year too, because the only thing that's gonna stop Georgia is reckless driving.
Touche. Mike, I see your hand is raised. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I completely agree with Rece Davis's comments that Florida is not the better program right now. And honestly, are we going to start having conversations about Florida not being a top program in the country anymore? It's been 18 years, I'm sorry, since they have been relevant in football. So
this is only relevant because of Lane Kiffin.
Well, I mean, that's fine, but Florida, are we going to keep propping Florida up to these top dog status when they're really maybe middle tier SEC?
Bad they are, but
are we going to start talking about that? Or
I mean, don't we do the same thing with where they are? Basketball?
Same thing with Miami. Everyone's always asking to do back. In terms of what?
I'm just saying, like, with blue bloods, you look at like Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA, UConn, UNC, Indiana. Those are listed as the blue bloods. When was the last time Indiana ever did anything in college basketball? It's like, but they're considered.
I think Indiana is not a blue blood personally. I think that blue blood status.
This is just what basketball media writers said on Wikipedia.
So. Going back, yeah, but in regards to football, like Florida, I think they're getting very close to getting to a point where they cannot be considered a top dog in the SEC.
Well,
in my opinion,
they're definitely not up there right now. But I think the point is when you have that, like in the state of Florida, it's no different for FSU. Like you always have that opportunity to be at the top of college football because the best players are coming out of your state. So it only takes one season to put you right back at the top, and the facilities are better than others. So that way you have the better opportunity to maintain the elite at the top for a longer time. So I'm not disagreeing with you. We do suck right now, and we shouldn't be talked about. Like the fact that we had any hype this year, like because there was
preseason hype, yeah.
It was insane to me. Like, and then at the same time, everyone was trying to balance it out with, we got the toughest schedule. So like, what are we? We had no idea what to expect because they were already telling us we sucked because the schedule's tough. But it's the third year. There's Texas A&M beat us with a first-year head coach in the swamp. That's inexcusable. But you can rebuild an SEC program up pretty quickly. But at the same time, like right now, yeah, we aren't the better job, but that's because Lane Kiffin has made Ole Miss a great job. But if you ask any head coach out there, do you want to work in Mississippi or Florida? Just that question alone makes it an easy decision.
Interesting. I love this back and forth. I agree with it. We have a limited amount of time, so I think we'll leave it at that. I will say Florida does travel to Mississippi State this coming weekend. Excuse me. They play at noon on ESPN against the 1-2 Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Their only win is Eastern Kentucky, and they lost at Arizona State, and they got obliterated by Toledo last week.
Well, good thing. Good thing Florida's coming to town because we can get our cowbell run by them. I'm sure
they might lose this game again because they'll be looking forward to playing Texas the next week, which they'll get destroyed. But I don't know. Let's
I will
shift
say
gears.
this.
Oh, go
I will
ahead.
say this. If Florida loses this Saturday, I think that's the end of Napier.
I would hope. I thought this week was it.
If they lose this game, yeah, that's the end of Napier
Should be.
as a head coach of Florida.
God hasn't been answering my prayers. I've been praying for it.
Let's go over to the other winless team, or no, not the other, the winless team up in Tallahassee, the Florida State
We run the
Seminoles.
state, baby.
20-12, they lose at home versus Memphis, who we paid $1.2 million to come play in Tallahassee. DJ Uiagalelei, the guy we have been talking countlessly about how bad he is, goes 16 for 30, 201 yards, and an interception. Still does not have a throwing touchdown on the year. Our leading rusher only rushed for 30 yards. Going into the game, we had our 3 top running backs who had a combined less than 100 yards rushing as a team. And what's his name? Seth Hennigan. Seth Hennigan looked like an all-star quarterback. He did have 1 interception. That wasn't really his fault. But Memphis just looked like the better team from start to finish, Mike.
Yeah, no, it was. I knew something. We're screwed as soon as the second play of the game where Roydell Williams goes up the middle and Memphis player's helmet hits the ball comes loose, Memphis gets the ball right on within 5 seconds of the game starting. They're about to score a touchdown already, and they're in scoring range. I'm like, lovely. This is how it's gonna go. Great. My favorite stat of the weekend, of the night, of the game, really, was I don't know at what point this stat line was. DJ Uwangale, 5 of 6 for 7 yards and an interception. 5 completions of 6 attempts for 7 yards. And on top of that, 1 receiver, the tight end, Kyle Morlock, caught 1 ball for 7 yards. So the others were all
0
to the line of scrimmage and tackled. So that's real fun. Personally, I don't know. This is a theme of all 3 of our teams, the Gators, the Jags, and the Noles. Piss poor offense, piss poor offense, piss poor offense. I don't know what it is, but there's no identity going on in Tallahassee right now. I listened to Mike Norvell's presser today, actually, and from the Saturday post game. He sounded so dejected, sounded confused, sounded lost. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on in Tallahassee. That maybe there's something going on in the background. I don't know. But personally, I don't think you're making a bold now. Like right now,
No.
2 fun facts about Florida State this year. They're the first team to clinch the under in their projected win total in Vegas. And they're the only winless Power 4 team in the country. So take that for what you will. So Vanderbilt's obviously got 2 wins. You got UCLA's got 1 win in the Big Ten and the Big 12. I don't even know who the worst team is in the Big 12. Colorado, they've got 2 wins.
Yeah.
So
are y'all playing Cal this week, right?
Yes, and we play Cal this week. So I'm not really confident in us beating Cal, which is really bad. They are currently 2.5-point favorites. Florida State is. I don't know if I really like that line. I don't know.
Understand how, but yeah.
I don't know either, but
Cal had a big win over Auburn, and they've been making funny memes ever since.
yeah, they've been making memes at Florida State too. So I just don't know. I really don't know what's wrong with Tallahassee, and I don't know when it's going to stop.
Do you think the problem is just DJU, and you just?
I think it's a multitude of issues.
There's a lot of issues.
The players that we got in the transfer portal have been huge misses. DJU is one of them. The quarterback play is atrocious. The offensive line is terrible. The run game is piss poor. It's just a multitude of factors. The defensive line is not generating enough pressure. But they did okay, I thought, Saturday afternoon. But other than that, it's just linebackers. I've exhausted my thoughts on that last week's episode.
And they kept getting hurt too.
And injuries, yeah, it's bad. It's all the way, it's bad. I don't know when they're going to get better. I don't know if they'll fix it. It won't be this year. So
do you think their first win will be versus Florida, or do you think they'll get a win before that?
They freaking better.
They will win before that.
Yeah, Charleston Southern the week before.
Yep. Well, let me hit you with these stats that are extremely sad. All right. 133 FBS teams. Florida State ranks 132nd in rush yards per game, 130th for yards per rush, which they average, I think, 1.2 this past game. 128th in total offense, 125th in third down conversions, which they went 2 for 12 last week against Memphis. I'm just going to reiterate that. 125th in offensive TDs, 124th in scoring offense, 118th in yards per play, 94th in yards per attempt, 75th in yards per completion, and 74th in passing offense.
Y'all should hire that Memphis coach. They produce good coaching talent there.
So I will say something that's going to be interesting to change coming up this week. I don't know if it'll impact the team as a whole, especially the offense. Florida State does get Alex Atkins back after serving a 3-game suspension from the NCAA. So we'll see if that impacts things. Personally, I don't think it matters, but I don't know. I think he's going to hopefully get some adjustments done, especially on the offensive line, because he's also the offensive line coach and the co-offensive coordinator. So maybe he'll take some play calling off of Norvell's shoulders. I don't know, but it's been rough right now at DJU and also the offensive line. So maybe Atkins is a bright spot coming up soon. Probably not. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it's a mess. Yes, you did already mention Cal is next on the schedule. 7 p.m. on ESPN2. How we still get televised games, I have no idea, but whatever. That is going to be also this Saturday. So
Well, it's probably so that way Cal can watch that game at like 3:00.
Yeah, right.
Versus their fans waking up at noon watching it, or if it was at noon, they'd be up at 9.
Right. Well, let's end with a one more final sad fact about both teams. This is the first time since 1955 that both Florida and Florida State have losing records through 3 games. Just terrible, terrible football. And it doesn't get any better when we transition into the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to go and say something real quick before you guys get started because I had something, but I can't remember. The Jacksonville Jaguars have given up 7 sacks and 11 quarterback hits on Trevor Lawrence in 2 games. Trevor Lawrence has now lost 7 straight starts, the longest active streak in the NFL. He has gone 294 days since his last victory as a starter, which was Houston, November 26th, so Thanksgiving last year, which is longer than it was a longer drought between his last college victory and first NFL victory, which was only 289 days. 18-13 the final in Jacksonville as Cleveland pretty much carried the torch the whole way, but also gave every opportunity for Jacksonville to get back into the game. But Jacksonville decided to squander every one of those efforts by either bad play, by the offense, stupid penalties that negate touchdowns, or giving up a safety on a play that should have been never should have even been called. So whoever would like the mic first can go ahead and start talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars and what mess they are.
Well, I guess I'll talk about how sad I am. Just we obviously first game we should have won. We can't go back to that. And then the second game was just the delayed game penalties inside the 5-yard line. Well, used 2 timeouts to prevent them. Really, that was horrible because then we couldn't do anything later in that first half to kind of take advantage of stopping Cleveland, getting the ball, do something. But yeah, it was just all together was a bad game, and then bad decisions all around. They decided to go one-on-one with Miles Garrett in certain situations, and then the drop back in the end zone because we couldn't hand it off to Tank because Tank was on kickoff and got hurt on a kickoff. So all sorts of questionable things. But yeah, and we got Buffalo now, so no easy test to just kind of adapt. But we've done pretty well against Buffalo in the past, but not to say Buffalo looked really good against Miami. So, and they got a long week because they played Thursday night to Monday night. Trevor was obviously saying some things in his press conference to kind of suggest that, things need to be different. with the play calling and such. And then also you got Travis Etienne talking about toughness with the players and stuff, and you talking about getting 3 yards per play versus trying to get the chunk yards. Which the chunk yards are great when it happens, but he's right because like we don't have the line to protect Trevor at the moment, and ETN can go up the middle, versus when we do decide to go horizontal on short yardage plays backfires a ton. So it's a lot of trouble, but we'll see what they can get corrected, if they can correct anything before week 3. But this is the start of the schedule is obviously the toughest part of the schedule, but we needed a good start in order to kind of feel good as a team, because it's similar vibes to last year where things were kind of off, and they're talking about how they needed the trip to London just to get right. And it's weird how they have to take a trip all the way to London just to get to act together, but we'll see.
We will. Mike.
Jags are a dumpster fire. Just simply put, man. I don't get it. Like, play calling is still confusing to me.
Yeah.
Like, why, like, for example, the safety, when we got the safety, why not just run a quick play in the middle of the field? You had no timeouts, sure. But, or no, do we have time? I can't remember. No, we had no timeouts. Just do a quick play in the middle of the field. Just get the ball out of the end zone. Give your quarterback room to operate. That pissed me off. Also, another play that pissed me off, and I retweeted it. It was I posted on my Twitter. Let me go
Is
back
it the
to my
curl
Twitter.
route one?
No, the one when we're in the end zone, we're going towards the south end zone, towards the bud zone. Lawrence throws
where
it.
Trevor
He
abandoned.
goes abandoned the pocket and goes to the left side of the field, and then Pete Briscoe posted it. He should have thrown it to Brian Thomas. Like that, there's no need to leave that pocket. And that throw, that highlight made me think back to, hate to say it, Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert saw ghosts.
Yeah.
And to me, that seemed like Trevor seeing ghosts because he doesn't trust that offensive line, which we have said for the last 4 years, I felt like. Offensive line is garbage. 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 Still no problem. You fix one person, you think it's going to fix all 5 people? No. Sheriff is garbage. Ezra Cleveland. The Ezra Cleveland and Mitch Morse combination, they had a 2-on-1 on that safety play.
Yep.
And they ran right up the middle and got Lawrence sacked in the end zone. Like, what are we doing here? So I there's clearly something going on in Jacksonville. Also, I think it's kind of funny, and I regret not doing this. I should have put so much money on the Browns because the fact that you named this stadium Trevor Bank Stadium.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's still being ridiculed, by the way. Like I saw someone retweet Andy he's a Jags fan. He has another Jags local podcast, whatever. He's part of someone posted a picture or a tweet. If Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, what do you think is the saddest place on earth? And you can't really see it in the camera, but it's
Trevor Bank Stadium.
Trevor Bank Stadium. Like it's so bad that you are like no one enjoys going to games anymore. Like I feel bad for Jags fans right now going to these games. I'm not going to the games right now. There's no point for me to go. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of always getting embarrassed. Like, Skyler, you said the first 4 games were the roughest part of the season. I think it's coming up, actually. I don't think we've reached our roughest part.
I just meant like the start of the schedule. Yeah, like with, Buffalo coming up. And I mean, London's not going to be too bad, but like before the London trip, all the games prior, like I think
first 5 games are rough, but I think the middle is really rough. You got Green Bay, Philly, Minnesota, Detroit, and then Houston. Like, that's going to be rough. Like, that's the middle of the season.
Maybe,
but
yeah.
Hopefully we win a game by then because right now I don't really see a win on our schedule, personally. Right now, this offensive line is pitiful. This offensive line is bad. Trevor is playing awful. So,
but I think I agree with you. He's like seeing ghosts, and because he doesn't trust the offensive line, and so that's like it's definitely causing more issues. And he, it just sucks because it's just there's plays that should be made, and then plays being left out there. Like Christian Kirk's been bad with drops. He's basically non-existent. I guess that's why they wore all white, because they wanted to be a ghost like Christian Kirk. And So
the surrender flag.
well,
Keith, what'd you think of the game yesterday or Sunday?
Pathetic. Terrible. Everything about it was just not enjoyable. I was watching at Elisa's grandma's house, so I couldn't even yell at the TV, so I was having like an aneurysm because I was bottling it in.
she was
I'm with you. I'm with you guys. The worst thing is the offensive line and just watching them just get steamrolled. Mitch Morris has an offensive grade of 68.6. Ezra Cleveland has a grade of 59.4, which is 46th of qualifying guards. But Brandon Scherf has a grade of 49.4, which is 65th of 68 qualifying guards. We've talked about this. Oh, and I forgot about Anton Harrison. 42.5 was
Oh my God.
66th of
Can we
68
talk about that
tackles.
Can we talk about that one play where he got absolutely destroyed?
He tripped on someone's foot, but he
Yeah.
didn't get absolutely destroyed.
It's a
Oh
little
my
bit
God. That was bad. And I'm like, oh my God, that was just a sign of how Cleveland really dominated us. They really just took over.
No one looked good. Cam didn't look good either. Let's just be honest.
No, not one positive on the team yesterday on Sunday. Not one.
We
Is
almost
Cam really
made
worth the money over Walker Little at tackle?
Well, Walker Little can't even beat this guy, so how bad is Walker Little? I have a question.
He shouldn't have gotten that money. If he's just going to be a revolving door, we could put in Walker Little and let him be a revolving door for less money.
I have a question. If we go 0-4, 0-5, do we fire anyone? Do we fire Doug?
Who's after Buffalo?
Houston.
Houston?
Yeah.
I still think we beat Houston though. I don't know. It's like, and like I said,
These next two are road games.
Yeah.
Personally, if you go 0-4, I think you really need to make some changes somewhere because the accountability is the lack of accountability is unreal.
Zero.
The lack of it. Who's calling plays?
We don't even know who's calling plays. Thank you. I was about to say the same thing. We don't know who's calling plays.
Why is it a secret still? Like, why? Who gives a damn?
No one.
Just own up to it. Or if Doug's not calling plays, let him own up to it. The fact that no one's owning up to who's calling plays or owning up to screwing up is a problem for me. And I'm so sick of it. Like, Etienne, when he fumbled the ball week 1, I didn't really see anywhere saying, I lost the game. Own up to it. Saquon yesterday, after granted, Eagles, another disaster last night, but Saquon literally dropped the ball to win them the game. And he said, that's on me. There's no accountability on this team. And it's bringing me back to when Shad Khan first bought the Jags, the complete ineptitude at this organizational level. We're going back to that, really? Like, it's mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing.
Doesn't make any sense. It's hard to be a fan right now. Twitter's in shambles, rightfully so, and I'm with you. I don't see how it gets much better. I'm trying to think of any bright spots besides Brian Thomas Jr. again. Dude is great when he gets the ball thrown to him, so I appreciate him. Cam Little missing a field goal hurt my feelings.
It was in the rain, whatever.
It is. It was, but still,
it just tied ball game if that had happened.
What's that?
The game would have been tied when we were backed up in our own end zone.
Yeah, but then we would have lost on a safety. So.
Well, no, the situation would have been different. Cleveland might not have.
Oh yeah, it would have had to. Yeah, I get it.
We should have lost the game in the first half or whatever when Tank Bigsby got blown up on that kickoff and they scooped and scored. But
Hopkins,
good old D-Hop, walked past the 50-yard line, so they called it back. We got bailed out with that one. Again, many times we got bailed out in this game, but we're not able to capitalize.
There's also time. There's always going to be bad calls going both ways because that was the one bullcrap roughing call on Devin Lloyd. When he tackled Deshaun. Not Denny, he didn't even really tackle Deshaun, but Deshaun was out of the pocket and he had literally just let go of the ball.
Yeah.
But that's whatever. But yeah, we're going up to Buffalo now, and Von Miller's still up there, right? And I'm not sure who else they have on their defensive line. They're gonna be running the ball a lot with James Cook. That was their theme against Miami. If not James Cook, it's probably gonna be Josh Allen running the ball. What's one or the other, and then tight ends getting involved. So I don't know. Buffalo's still a really good team, obviously, but we usually play them pretty well. Hopefully, we can compete again. It's Monday Night Football. Last year we embarrassed ourselves on both night games, so we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah. One last fact about the Browns. Well, more about Deshaun Watson. He's never lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is 7
They showed that graphic. Yeah.
That one stings a little bit. So my question for you guys, because we're running out of time here, we're not gonna pick scores because I'm not picking the Jags until they prove otherwise. I want you to answer this yes or no. Will the Jaguars, you first, Skyler, will the Jaguars score over 15 points?
Score over 15, yeah.
Mike? Mike, you there?
Bueller?
Oh, he is not paying attention. Well, I'm gonna say no. And I just texted Mike for him to look it up. I think he's frozen.
He just sent a text in the group chat too.
My connection is bad, hopping on via phone. Okay. Well, I'm putting myself as no for right now, and we'll come back to him. It's kind of funny. It looks like he's just sleeping on the screen. Let me take a picture of this. I can post this.
Well,
you're in it. Oh, he went away before I could take the picture.
He probably heard you.
Dang it. What a jerk.
He probably still here.
I've taken too many pictures of him anyway. He probably kicked my butt. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and finish with our Nerdy Nuts ad read real quick here. So since you're on, you can listen to it, and we'll wait for Mike to rejoin. Banana milkshake cashew butter is, I think, the first cashew butter I've ever heard from Nerdy Nuts.
Yeah.
These are all the new release that just came out this past Sunday, by the way. Hazelnut cocoa peanut butter, salted caramel cheesecake peanut butter, autumn pie. It looks like pecan pie. Area Minty 1, which is a play on Nevada and Area 51. It's just a minty peanut butter. I don't know how I feel about mint and peanut butter.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. S'mores brownie. That sounds delicious. German chocolate cake. 7-layer peanut butter treat. Ooh, I like 7-layer peanut butter treat. Salted nut roll.
Okay, I'm
key
back.
lime pie.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
And we come in pieces are the newest ones that have just come out. So there's Mike. He's rejoined us. Mike, did you hear my question? Because we're running out of time here.
No.
My question was, since we're not picking the Jags to win any more games until they prove otherwise, will the Jags score over 15 points this week?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's 2 yeses. I said no.
I need the Jags to win the next 9 games for my 9-2. so
it is gonna be so delightful on this podcast for the next couple weeks if we just keep losing.
Buffalo, I mean, if they could beat Buffalo, they'll be in good spirits, and I feel confident about how they play against Houston. I feel like they really hate Houston, how they act right now. So like they always get motivated for that game. And if for some reason they can get 2-2 after that, I think that's when the London games are, or we got one more game here before London. But
to be fair, the Texans haven't looked that great. I mean, they beat the Colts and the Bears, 2 teams that aren't very good anyway.
Yeah,
the Colts really particularly look strong in either of them. So
we're only in second place in the division. I mean, my optimism's dead for the Gators, but I will always remain optimistic for the Jaguars, despite. So,
ESPN shows us at third.
Third? What? Behind Tennessee?
Behind Indy, but that doesn't make sense because they're 0-1.
They lost to Houston. Yeah, they're 0-1 in the division.
Yeah. And I don't know why it shows.
Also, the thing is, we've lost the 2 games were to conference foes, so I'm not sure if that plays a factor into it.
No, because Tennessee's 0-1 in the conference.
Well, he's saying like we lost.
Yeah, but we're 0-2. 0-2 is worse.
Right, but we're ahead of Tennessee. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, then lost. NFL tiebreakers are weird.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, we have less points for, but we've given up less points against. Maybe that's it. The point differential. I don't know.
We're better than Indianapolis. We're better than Tennessee. We just have to beat Houston 2 times, and we're already back in first.
Yeah. I mean,
it's as simple as that.
Simple as that, but also as complicated as that, as we have not
Yeah.
seen any semblance of
Well,
good
it's just
football.
yeah, the Jaguars make the simple things look hard. So it's a simple task, but hard for the Jags.
Indeed,
I
it
was
is.
telling my dad this. I was
yeah.
telling my dad this before we wrap up. Jags are probably gonna win on Sunday because they win games they're not supposed to, but then lose games they're supposed to win. So,
Well, they're
and
playing
they give
on
us false
Monday.
hope. They give us false hope. So I want to see real quickly if you guys have a game ball of the week. You don't even have to give stats or anything. Does anyone have a game ball of the week to anybody?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Alvin Kamara.
Dang, Alvin Kamara was mine. I'm gonna go with then. Oh, I'll go back to the Packers. Josh Jacobs.
Oh, I'll take it. Okay, there you go. Fair enough. My backup, also just an honorary one. Marvin Harrison, second game in the NFL, goes off for 2 touchdowns. Marvin,
Yeah, good for
should
him.
add.
That was a
Harrison.
nice game. Yeah, talk about putting it together. The Arizona Cardinals have put it together more quickly than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just
Yeah, I'm thankful that Chicago drafted Odunze versus Brian Thomas Jr. though, because I mean we probably would have got Odunze, but
oh, he just keeps slamming his helmet on the sideline because his quarterback can't get him the ball.
yeah.
Oh, Junze didn't. He played last night. Yeah, he did play.
Yeah. But all right, guys, I think that's gonna wrap things up for us for this episode of Dimes on Duval, presented by Nerdy Nuts. For Skyler Chase and Mike Yazji, I am Keith Manzi signing off, and we will catch you on the next episode next week. See you guys later, man.
Give me some accountability, please.
Eat a lot of chicken wings.